Now that you've been fooled by the cartoon woman into watching this, let's talk about
Terraria modding.
I am creating a bubble class mod in Terraria, and this is the second video in this series. If you haven't seen the first one, I highly recommend watching it, but I will still try to explain the gameplay mechanics and ideas I have for this mod in this video. Anyways, let's begin. So, there is one issue with my mod that I noticed after uploading my last video, and that is how my bubble class is strikingly similar to Mage. It's like Mage, but instead of regenerating mana, you manually increase it. And the reason why this is a problem is that a player can just spam their dipping key, which will increase their solution while they attack simultaneously. The same issue exists with the Mage class, where a player can just equip a mana flower and attack indefinitely, with the only limiter being the amount of mana potions in their inventory. To solve this issue, I decided to make the bubble class have a gameplay style where the player has to alternate between offense and defense. The offense side of gameplay would prioritize weapon use and some accessories, and empties the solution bar, while the defensive side of gameplay would focus on dipping to fill up the solution bar and dealing some damage with accessories. To encourage this sort of gameplay, I made it so that when attacking, dipping will be disabled with a cooldown of 120 frames, which is 2 seconds as Terraria runs on 60 FPS. This makes it so that the player has to wait 120 frames after attacking to dip. The same applies to dipping and then attacking as well. And now, onto the new content for this devlog. First off, I have added 2 new blower weapons to the mod. As a recap, blowers are weapons that consume higher amounts of solution at the cost of a slower fire rate. The first one is called the Prime Echelon and doesn't really have any special features. It's an upgrade to the wooden blower, which I nerfed a bit, and the reason why I did this is to discourage the player from using a weapon that can be crafted at the very start of the game against bosses. Next up, we have Hell's Bubble, a blower that lobs an exploding bubble. The bubble deals damage on contact, and then explodes, which inflicts even more damage to enemies. Personally, the sprite for this weapon might be one of my favorite out of the entire mod so far. It looks like something you would find in Terraria, and that makes it kinda special to me, because my spriting skills are abhorrent. Anyways, the weapon also costs 4 solution to use. In my last video, I mentioned a few other subtypes of weapons I want to implement for my class. One of them is Bubble Tech, which is basically controllable weapons that lean towards a technology theme. Though in the video there's also a few that are magic themed. If you're wondering why I decided to name it Bubble Tech, I wanted to create a bit of a narrative for this mod. At first I wanted this mod to only add a new class, but after some contemplation, I had some ideas that I really wanted to implement but would require me to add a lot more than just a simple class. I'll try going over my ideas another time. Anyways, back to the showcase. The first bubble tech weapon I created is the vintage bubble controller. It creates a bubble that follows the mouse and consumes 1 solution. You can summon up to 10 of these bubbles at a time, and they all imitate collision through this technique called voids, or at least the separation part of it anyways. Basically, how voids work is that each projectile looks to see if there's another projectile that is too close to it. If they are too close, push each other away. Kinda like social distancing, or those parents that try to separate their kid from their partner in a relationship because they disapprove of it. Of course, this isn't the entire explanation of voids, but what do I look like? Sebastian Lake to you? Anyways, with that explanation over, I'm going to reveal the last 3 bubble tech weapons I have ready to showcase for this devlog. To start off, this is the Forest Call. It spawns this mouse controllable bubble that deals constant damage and can be guided with left click and despawned with right click. It also has this special function where if the player makes contact with the bubble, they will be launched into the air, and this has a 3-second cooldown. I think this weapon will be very good for the shoot and dip gameplay that I envisioned for this class, allowing you to avoid bosses in early game while you still lack many movement accessories. This weapon also uses a shader too, and let me tell you, this shader thing took like 2 days to make, and another day to fix, and all it does is scroll this noise texture. Shaders are the bane of my existence. Anyways, next up is the Cactus Medallion. This weapon spawns a controllable cactus bubble thing that spews out spikes randomly. It also fires multiple spikes when the bubble pops. Using the weapon costs 1 solution, and drains solution over time. In the project files, this was originally going to be called Spike Storm, but I couldn't figure out what the sprite should look like. Both this projectile and the forest call projectile die if you change to a different weapon, or if your solution bar runs out, to balance things out. And last but not least, I made an upgrade to the vintage bubble controller. The prototype controller has the same function as the vintage bubble controller, but bubbles have a chance to explode, which will deal more damage. This prototype controller also deals more base damage and follows the mouse faster. That's all the weapons I made for this devlog. On to accessories. First off, I created these 3 charms. Charms are accessories which do something when dipping, such as dealing damage or buffing the player. They also have a passive stat bonus related to the bubble class, so I plan on limiting the player to only 1 charm per loadout. The first charm I have to showcase is the Pearl Charm. When dipping while having this accessory equipped, every dip grants the player the Pearl buff for a very short duration, which increases movement speed and acceleration. The Pearl Charm also passively reduces the cooldowns between going from dipping to attacking by 15%. The next charm is the Potion Charm. It heals the player by the amount of dip they gain and has a cooldown of 8 seconds. The accessory also increases bubble damage by 5% and reduces dip cooldown by 12%. And the last charm I have made is the Coin Charm. When dipping with this accessory, the player has a 50-50 chance of getting 1 extra solution per dip or failing the dip and gaining nothing from it. The Coin Charm also reduces dip cooldown by 10%. Now, I also have a new tank accessory ready for this video. As a reminder, tanks are accessories which increase solution capacity. Here is the Void Tank. This accessory increases solution capacity by 10 and increases the amount of solution you get per dip by 1. While having this accessory equipped, the player can gain up to 3 extra defense depending on how filled their solution bar is. This part of the accessory functions as a way to motivate the player to consider dipping while running. And that's it for this video. If any of you want to leave suggestions for the mod, this might be a good time, because I am planning on adding a few viewer suggestions when the next devlog video gets uploaded. For those who left their comments already in the last video, I already started jotting some suggestions down. Also, I want to thank everyone for 100 subscribers. My last video basically almost doubled my subscriber count. Your support really boosts my motivation to continue working on improving my channel, and I just wanted to show my appreciation for the many people who liked this video, subscribed, and even left comments on it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and goodbye.